Hi YouTube, welcome back to our channel, and this December with us where we're posting a new video every single day of December. Today we are going to be doing an Australia and New Zealand Q&A. So we went travelling there earlier this year. We're in Australia and New Zealand for what, like a month and a bit?
Yeah.
So let's get straight into it.
Right, first question. What's the number one place you would recommend someone to go to in Australia or New Zealand?
I feel like it has to be Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney for Australia, definitely.
Sydney for Australia, Queenstown for New Zealand. Auckland is also really nice. I would recommend Auckland but like, I mean, all of the places are cool. Like Brisbane has some really fun things and you can go to the Steve Irwin Zoo. Melbourne, I had tonsillitis, so I didn't really see a whole lot of Melbourne. It was cool, but it was very city vibes.
It was, yeah, city vibes.
But we didn't get to the beach or anything because I was out.
I just think our favourites were Sydney and Queenstown. So
for sure. I mean, but then again, Perth, stunning, and you can go to Rottnest Island and see the quackers, which is really, really cool. And it's a lot quieter in Perth, which is definitely a bonus. What's one thing that travellers always forget to pack for these countries? I feel like an adapter. I feel like that's one thing, like, if people don't think. For us, it was like, oh, shoot, let's make sure we grab the adapter just before we leave.
We've got one of those ones that...
Universal.
Got, like, yeah, Universal. They've got, like, Europe.
Yeah.
Different ones.
Maybe, like, beach cover-ups, because it's good to have, like, a nice beach cover-up. Especially if you're, like, doing a beach holiday. And then I'm going to say first aid kit, because I hurt myself when I was in Queenstown. And we did have a first aid kit, but actually it wasn't packed with as much as we really needed. So yeah, I had to buy quite a lot of the stuff out there. Next one, which city would you start your trip in, Sydney or Auckland?
Neither.
Well, we started ours in Perth and then we headed over to the east coast.
It depends. If you want to do all of Australia,
Perth is quiet, so like
I would suggest flying into Perth and doing Perth first, because then you've done that side of Australia. Yeah. And then everything else is on the right hand side, so you just either go...
It depends whether you want to start busy or you want to start like slow, really.
Yeah, true, unless you fly all the way down to New Zealand first and go sort of up New Zealand and then up from the bottom of the right hand side of Australia, then go to Perth and then fly home.
The thing is, New Zealand is so far away. Like, you think Australia is far away, New Zealand is so far. Our flight from Auckland to Singapore was like the same amount of time it would fly from here to Singapore, which is like, I feel like when you look at the map you just don't think that, but it is really far. So if you want to, I think maybe that's what I'd recommend. Start the furthest, get that long flight first and then get the short flight back from Perth.
Yeah,
could be a shout.
Could be a shout.
Unless you had a little bit of Asia in there, then it's like definitely go the Auckland way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the trip that you're looking for.
What's the biggest culture shock travellers should experience down under?
It's not really like a culture shock thing, but I feel like the thing that stood out to me the most was the fact that like nobody takes your order. Less so in New Zealand, we got more orders taken in New Zealand, but in Australia,
self-service.
Yeah, it's all like you scan a QR code and you order it and they just bring the food out to you, or you have to go up and order. Because we got halfway through Australia and I was like, I don't think a singular person has come up to our table and taken our food order, which I know in the UK we use a lot of like QR codes and stuff too, but like I feel like 90% of the time, well, okay, maybe like 60% of the time, someone comes up to you with. This was nobody came up and took our order in Australia. Yeah. Which, just was a bit... I've got to say, I prefer people coming and taking your order sometimes. If I'm in a bad mood, then I'm like, I just want to order it quickly. But I do like people coming up and taking
it helped us, it was efficient. Like...
Yeah, but it just means as well, you can barely ever pay with cash. Because it's all mobile orders. So you kind of have to pay with card. Yeah. So
unless it was just the restaurants we went to, but...
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But, yeah.
What's your biggest tip for exploring Australia or New Zealand on a tight budget? Know people there that you can stay with.
Yeah, that helps us.
I have a lot of family in Australia, so we were luckily able to stay with them. However, I would say for us, like, we just looked around a lot. You know, you can take buses, you can take, don't think there's a train going up the coast, but you can take buses. and you can fly. But we sort of looked at all of that and we worked out that the cheapest way for us to do it was to hire a car.
Yeah.
The petrol was pretty cheap. The driving was easy. Like, it was, especially city to city, it was very quiet. So it was really easy. So yeah, it's just sort of looking at what fits your budget best. And we were used to driving abroad. So like, we were more than happy to do that. It was easy, except for we did get a screw in our tyre in Australia.
That's just unlucky though. Like, it could happen to anyone.
But we drove, in Australia, we drove from Brisbane down to Melbourne, and then in New Zealand, we drove from Queenstown all the way up to Auckland, and we even like crossed over on the ferry, which was bumpy, but we love it.
It seemed like it was going to be difficult to do that, but
yeah, it was so easy
to drive through New Zealand. You just follow the sat nav. Straight roads mainly.
What's one activity that you feel should cost more money?
Should cost more money?
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like a lot of the activities were really expensive in Australia and New Zealand. We went to Queenstown, to the Milford Sounds in Queenstown, and that was £90 each for just an hour cruise. So that was really expensive.
It was longer than an hour, wasn't it?
It was about an hour and a half. And then you had to pay an extra $30 for the parking.
Yeah.
That was expensive. We went to Quaggy, formerly Fraser Island, and that was like 500 Australian dollars for the day for the two of us. And those were really the two only went to Rottnest Island. Again, that was expensive, like to get the ferry over to Rottnest Island. So I feel like, honestly, things are well priced. Like, obviously the things you're doing, going to Quaggy, going to Milford Sounds, these are all like beautiful national but they're national parks as well, national, like Rottnest Island. Like, obviously you want to do the things that you can to protect the land, so it makes sense to pay that much. But honestly, I don't think anything should cost more because it was already quite pricey.
No. I'm trying to think of something else that
we didn't really do anything else that cost money. Luckily, everything else was free. Like, we went to Byron Bay. That's obviously free to go and swim.
we did the luge.
Noosa. Oh, the luge was pretty well priced though.
Yeah.
Activities like that in Queenstown, like the bungee jumping, we didn't do that, but those were all fairly priced.
Where can travellers find the cheapest food but still the best quality?
Okay, my favourite place to eat in Australia was Grilled.
Okay, yeah.
I loved Grilled, and they do this like lamb burger, and you get to choose what's in your burger. It was so tasty. We had that quite a lot because it was like quite decently priced.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else in Australia. We stopped at a lot of Woolworths.
Yeah.
And got a lot of fruit from Woolworths. We ate quite a lot of fruit on our Australia trip. That was quite well priced. I would say the prices aren't that different to the UK.
No.
Do you think they're basically the same?
Yeah.
Well, especially for like fruit and stuff, it's a little cheaper. But as for restaurants and that, it's basically the same. It's nice. There was another burger place we went to, it was like Betty's or something.
Yeah.
That was decent, but I prefer Grilled. Grilled was really tasty. And then the last time I had it, I had really bad tonsillitis, and we were in Melbourne, and I was like, I really want this meal, but like, it just hurts. I did eat it though, it was good. Which animal were you most excited or terrified to meet?
Wow. I didn't want to meet a shark. That was one of the main things. But we swam quite a bit. And
we didn't meet a shark.
So.
I was most excited for, I've been to Australia before, but to see the koalas and to see the kangaroos, obviously. We also went and saw the quokkas, which I've got to be honest, I think that was the one I was most excited for because I'd never seen a quokka before. And we actually went to Rottnest Island, and then we saw them again in the Steve Irwin Zoo. But they were so much happier on Rottnest Island. I think because they'd just gotten them in the zoo, they were still like adjusting to zoo life.
And there wasn't many of them.
And there wasn't many of them. But on Rottnest Island, there was so cute. And then obviously you get to go up in that zoo as well and like pet the kangaroos and see the koalas. I think you can like pet the koalas, but there was a really long queue and we were like, don't need to do that. We didn't really need to do the kangaroo one. It's just nice to look at them.
But we saw kangaroos.
in Perth as well. Perth. Wild kangaroos, and they're so big. Like, you just don't think that they're that big. But yeah, so big. Would you rather swim at Bondi Beach or bungee jump in Queenstown? Swim in Bondi Beach. I don't think either of us would really want to bungee jump.
No.
It's not really for me. We did swim in Bondi Beach, which was really cool, but the current was so hard, so we really only went up to about our waist, didn't we?
Yeah. We went into the what's it called? We
went into the pools.
Pools, yeah.
Can't remember what it's called, and swam there for quite a while, where like the waves splash up into the pools. They're like salt pools. That was beautiful. We spent quite a lot of time in there, and then we headed over because Alex was like, we've got to get into the sea at Bondi.
That was quite well priced, actually, I thought.
Yeah, it was like $11 Aussie dollars, like £5 each. It was not bad at all. It was just very crowded, I will say. Well, you could swim and stuff, but it was like to sit and stuff. There's not much seeing. Yeah, that was definitely a highlight.
Okay, next one. What's the most Instagrammable spot in Australia or New Zealand?
I mean, this is obvious, isn't it? I feel like my answer's obvious.
Australia's Sydney Opera House.
The Sydney Opera House, like, surely.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I would probably say for Queenstown, either Milford Sounds was beautiful and like made a really beautiful Instagram post.
It did.
But Auckland with the Auckland Tower.
Yeah.
We went to like the streets where you can like see the tower through the streets. That was beautiful.
Also, when you get up the top of Queenstown, like looking back down on Queenstown was quite
really beautiful.
Nice photo.
We really enjoyed Queenstown. We really enjoyed, we did enjoy Queenstown, but we also really enjoyed Auckland, and I feel like we could go back and explore more of Auckland. I think we didn't really do a lot in Auckland because we kind of gave back the car
stuff.
Yeah. But there's like the suburbs and the beaches and stuff are meant to be absolutely stunning. So I think there's more in Auckland.
So next question, what weather surprises should you look out for if you're travelling to Australia and New Zealand?
So I feel like there's the obvious ones, like if it's overcast, still wear sunscreen, still wear a hat.
Yeah.
It might be overcast, but that's what gets you. That's where you get burnt. The sun is getting through those clouds, so don't be fooled by the overcastness. We were there in February.
Yeah.
So it was nice and warm still, but starting to cool down before autumn. What I will say is I know a lot of people go to Australia January, February. Watch out for the weather because it is starting to go to those colder months, and we actually were there when a cyclone hit. We were very lucky in the fact that it literally chased us down the coast. Now, obviously, this doesn't happen all the time, but as we were moving city to city, it was like getting to the city we had just left. So we were really like super lucky with that. But watch out for that because it can happen. But really, I don't know what the climate's like there anyway. It could happen anytime.
Yeah.
But yeah, just watch out for that sun. She's hot and she's always working. So you need to wear sunscreen, cover up, especially your shoulders and your face. Those are probably my biggest things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, this is the last question. For anyone knows us, knows that we collect lots of souvenirs. So this question is, what souvenirs would you grab that instantly screams Australia or New Zealand? Okay, Australia, you've got like frisbee, not frisbee, boomerang. You could get yourself a didgeridoo. But I mean, that's something to transport home. I feel like a nice pair of flip-flops or thongs, as they call them, could be a shout. A towel. Streams Australia, like the towel. One of those like road signs with the animals on it.
Yeah, that's good.
That streams Australia. You obviously have like the fridge magnets, that sort of stuff. Maybe like a surfboard, like a little surfboard. Or
the ones we got were quite cool because
they all matched all around Australia. It was like the same brand had done one for each one, and they were nice metal ones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like those are the good like a little kangaroo toy or koala toy.
There's really good patches, right?
Yeah, the patches were nice.
Doing like budget travels.
Yeah.
Quite often get patches to sew onto their bags and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of variety.
For sure. And then New Zealand.
New Zealand was
Kauai? Kiwi.
Kiwi. It was a lot more difficult in New Zealand.
It was more difficult. I'm trying to think. You can get like the kiwi, like animal little kiwi things. We tried actual kiwis while we were in there, and they were not great. I'm not gonna lie. I think we were not in the season for them. We did not love those. They were really sour.
They were sour, yeah.
Again, I think just like souvenirs and stuff. for New Zealand.
Yeah, just the basic.
Like the basic souvenirs, like the magnets, the pins, the patches, the stickers.
Yeah. You just have to do a bit of searching. And
yeah.
Sometimes if you really love one, buy it.
It was harder in like Christchurch and Wellington. I felt. I don't even think we got anything for Wellington in the end. But Queenstown was easy. There's lots of touristy shops, and Auckland was easy. There was lots of touristy shops there too. So that is the end of the video. If you would like to see tomorrow's video, make sure to subscribe and like this video and turn on the notification bell so you get a notification when it comes out. And we will see you there.
Goodbye.
Bye.